Buying scuba gear on the secondhand market. I use Facebook Marketplace. You can get some pretty good buys there if you know what you're looking for. For example, you're looking at the presentation is everything. If it's laid out in just a jumbled mess, probably the person has no idea what he's got, and probably the equipment is really old and it might be garbage. So there's that. Second thing, the description of the equipment. Read that. And the one thing I look for that clues me in right now is a weight belt. If I see a weight belt, I know that equipment came out before BC's got the weight integrated systems, which means it's at least 20 years old, maybe older. Okay, so you're looking at equipment that's 20 years old. Now you look at the regulator. A lot of the regulators, and I'll do a rant on regulators one day, but a lot of them, the companies that made them just don't make the parts for them anymore. I saw two TUSA regulators on Facebook Marketplace. It included 2 second stages, gauges, and a BC hose. I thought, oh, 50 bucks, I'll take that. So I bought them. Taken to my local dive center to have them rebuilt and, you know, ready, serviced. And they called me up a couple days later and said, hey, we can't do anything with the first stage, but we can rebuild the second stages. I said, all right, tell you what I want you to do. They had a trade-in program for a brand that they sell second stages, or first stages, I'm sorry. And I had them, I said, I'll do the trade-in program with the first stage, you know, put that new first stage on there, rebuild the other 2 second stages, and I'll be in to pay for it when it's ready. And that's what we did. So basically there you go. For 50 bucks, it costs, I want to say that whole, I was out of there for neighborhood of $240. So say I spent 300 bucks. Well, you're not going to buy a regulator for less than 300 bucks anyway. So now I've got the gauge console perfectly good, and I'm ready to go, and the extra second stage and all that. So I did okay. I got a good regulator, good, and I didn't spend a whole lot of money for it. Now, generally you're not going to find buys where you're going to get a perfect steal on it. You know, you spend $25 for $500 worth of equipment. That's probably not going to happen. It might, but hey, you never know unless you look. So what you're going to look for is equipment that is not 25 years old. Know what you want to pay for it. Know what equipment costs, and go on Scuba board or somewhere else and do a little research and find some information on it. And you should be okay. You just don't want to get stuck with a regulator nobody's made parts for in 40 years or 50 years with a BC that has a leak. If you buy a BC, you might want to blow it up. Make sure it doesn't leak before you walk out of there with it. Because last I checked, Facebook Marketplace isn't going to take a whole lot of returns. Like I said, if you see weight belt there, probably you're looking at least 25-year-old equipment. I wouldn't want to buy a 25-year-old regulator unless I knew what I was getting, and I'm not afraid to buy it if I do. I happen to have I bought a couple weeks ago a con shelf. I forget which number it is. I want to say con shelf 9, maybe. No, it was earlier than that. Made in 74, 75, and had it serviced. added an octopus to it, and it's good to go. Thank you for your time.